Let's please bring in our good friend Bill Lindsay, Florida Panthers radio crew, alum. And Billy, looks like you're on the road in Edmond, Chuck. Am I right on that? What's the vibe, guy?
In beautiful Edmond, Chuck. Where are you at, in a gym? Are you kidding me?
I'm in Moose Jaw, in a gym.
In Moose Jaw, in a gym?
Yeah, no, I'm...
Yeah,
well, it's been a day or two since you've been here. By the way, join the action at Golden Ticket Sports Center in Moose Jaw, your hub for sports, fitness, and community fun. That's the story on that, Bill. Listen, are you trying to? You seem like you're a little nervous. Or something. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Yeah, just got my workout in this morning. I got to Edmonton yesterday, taking in the sights, looking down outside my room. I can right on top of the arena. I see the plaza where all the fans celebrate, and it's fun to come up to a Canadian city, especially with a 2-0 lead. Panthers been playing well. The series now is getting into it with these two teams, and the dislike is starting to ramp up. And got a good series. Panthers held serve on home ice. Now it's up to the Oilers. They come in here down 2-0. Can they hold serve on their home ice? It's going to be imperative for them to get back into this series. This next game, must wins throughout the course of a series. You go down 3-0 historically, doesn't fare very well. So Edmonton coming up pretty much falls into the must-win category.
Yeah, and hey, injury is going to be pretty top secret this time of year, right? But as far as the Barkov thing goes, I guess he skated this morning. Can you tell our audience the importance of the captain to the Panthers lineup?
Barkov's as important as McDavid is to the Oilers. He means that much. Plays both ends of the rink. He goes against the top players. And even the game one where Edmonton was flying and going all over the ice, getting scoring chances. You look at Barkov, the nuances of the game in that first game. He had 4 block shots, a lot of them at critical times, 3 takeaways. The offense, and still ended up with a couple of assists. One was on an empty net goal. But whether it's going offense or just playing the defense, when your captain is blocking shots, takeaways, doing all those little things, it just filters down throughout the course of the lineup that everyone has to follow suit, has to kind of play with those same kind of traits. Without Barkov, this Panther team doesn't have the same look. He's a catalyst in so many different categories, and Paul Maurice has the ultimate trust in him. That's why he won the Selke Trophy, and he's the guy that's out there on the power play when you need a goal, trying to score. He's the guy when it's a 6-on-5, defending the lead. Barkov's the player that you want on the ice.
I follow a lot of fans on Twitter at my own peril, but I just want to know what they're saying. And Panthers fans were very upset at Draisaitl's hit on Barkov. He didn't get anything for it, supplementary discipline. What did you think of it?
Okay, so he left his feet, elbow to the head. Move on. It's we got down into the alley last game. That's where the Panthers want to play. Draisaitl is a big guy. Paul Maurice, I thought, handled it well after the game. It's no time for retribution in a Stanley Cup final. Just deal with what happened. There could have maybe been a fine, supplementary. Get 2 minutes. The Panthers are very good at just kind of focusing on, hey, it happened. What's next? What do we do about it? If there's no supplementary discipline, move on to don't worry about it. Don't let it hang over your shoulders. Move on to the next day's practice. Get ready for game number 3, and just continue to worry about everything that's right in front of your nose. So that's kind of the context of it. You can take it any way that you want. If it's dirty, if it's not dirty, it happened. And there's no suspension. Barkov's back skating. Move forward from there.
So you said you're in Edmonton now. I got to ask you this. You've been part of a lot of wars in the playoffs. Do you see the series changing on a dime because of the venue? It could. I mean, what do you expect in Game 3?
Edmonton better come out humming. They better come out with what we saw, that tempo in Game 1, where they were able to put the Panthers back on their heels, create some 3-on-1s, 3-on-2s. That first period is going to be critical. You look at the way that Edmonton's played throughout the course of this series and their goal differential in that opening period, they've been able to land the knockout blows early. in games and get into leads. That allows Chris Knobloch to get into more of a four-line rotation, trust his players more. And the power play is oxygen. They don't have a power play goal. That's what feeds the beast for the Oilers. So going into game number 3, they've got to come out, start that tempo, and they cannot get behind. One goal maybe, but you see what happens when it gets into a 2-goal deficit. They go down to 2.5 lines. McDavid's playing 26, 27 minutes a night. It's not sustainable against the Panthers. Boston, the Boston, Tampa Bay, New York Rangers, the attrition for 60 minutes, staying with this Panther group for 60 minutes. I have not seen one team be able to do it. And what Edmonton did in game 1, no team has done that to us throughout the course of these playoffs. They got to get back to that kind of style if it's available. But if it looks more like game number 2 and the attrition and the high minutes, good luck hanging with the group. Paul Maurice trusts Opozo, Stenlund, Lawrence, who's ever on the fourth line. They're going to play. It's a deeper team. So they're going to have to find a way to score some power play goals, try and play with leads and force the Panthers kind of out of their comfort zone. I don't believe you want to get into kind of the alley fight that happened in game 2, where you're kind of trading blows, jabs. It gets all kinds of physical. That's where the Panthers live. They want to drag you down into the gutter and just make it a street fight. So we'll see. Edmonton wants it to open up and look more like, if they need it to look more like game number 1. If that comes, then they're gonna have more of a chance at a victory.
It's been fun watching this. My last question. It's been fun watching the growth, the metamorphosis of this team for the last 3 years I've been following, because you were there, too. There were a bunch of kids that got their clocks cleaned by Tampa, swept in round 2 a couple years ago. Now they're men. And as you say, they're kind of bullies, and they like to fight in the alley. That's not what they were, but they are now. And I feel like you, from the start of the year, you never doubted that they would get here. That is like the hungriest team I think I've ever seen.
It started in training camp, and what they went through last year to get to the Stanley Cup final, all the systems were in place, but Paul Maurice just drove them into the ground, said this is going to be one of the hardest training camps that you're ever going to go through. And not only did the players say, okay, but they embraced it. They went above and beyond. And that's where Paul Maurice knew, okay, maybe I'm onto something. Bill Zito gets Ekman-Larsson. He gets Kulikov. He gets Mikkola. Helps out at the start of the season. Last year, you're playing catch-up from the All-Star game on, trying to get into the playoffs. Game 81-82, you punch your ticket. That brutal first round against Boston. And then by the time you got to the Stanley Cup, you're on duct tape. You're piecing shoulders together, ankles, everything. And this year, it was kind of a crescendo, just a build, a steady build towards this time of year. And the way that they play through 82 games, when it's on, it's good. But can you play that way all the time? There's going to be some dips throughout 82 games, back-to-backs, 3 games in 4 nights. It's just not going to look the same. But when you get into the playoffs and every team is on the same rest, the same schedule, now you can play that game. You can play exactly how you want to play. They were built for this time of the year. They wanted to get back. There's a big scoreboard in the arena that says redemption. It was all about redemption and getting back to this point. It was a more subdued Eastern Conference championship celebration. They had a bigger mission and a bigger goal on mind. The experience helps, but they had one mindset right from the drop of training camp to be the best conditioned team, the hardest team to play against, and start with defense first. No matter what happens offensively, this team, you are going to play defense. If you don't, you are not going to be in the lineup. And that was established, and away they went from there. And that's why they're so good defensively and so hard to play against.
It's been a heck of a lot of fun to watch. Bill, good luck nailing it down. And I'll talk to you when it's all over, man. Enjoy it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun up here in Edmonton. It's going to be, I'm looking, it's been a long time since being in Canada. Let's rock and roll.
I know you are. Just if you're going to wear that Panthers gear around downtown there, take some beef with you, okay?
Yeah,
thanks, Bill.
Be careful. Thanks, Rod.
Exactly. Yeah, all right. Bill Lindsay, our great friend from the Florida Panthers radio network and the face of the Panthers in South Florida. He doesn't say that. Randy Moeller does, the TV color guy.